Hotep. This would be the continuation of, basically breaking down the science, or the science of breaking down the meanings of certain words that we're using that we feel are actually creating our reality positively, when in actuality they work against us. Just a simple explanation of what I'm really attempting to get across here is the fact, and I recommend those who haven't seen my very first series of videos, Word Sound Creates Our Reality. We have to understand that each time we utter a word is a vibration. You can ask any scientist that it is vibration, motion, which is life, that creates everything around us. Subatomic level, atomic level, which is going to be what? Material level, even light, sound waves. And we have to know that whenever we utter a word, each particular letter in a word is actually a glyph. And each letter or glyph represents tons and tons of meanings depending on which glyph you're looking at. And since a lot of us don't understand the science or the sciences dealing with word sound pronunciation, we are actually speaking ourselves into a reality of lack, slavery, fear, unaccomplishment, unsuccess, misfortune, disappointment. Okay? And this is because of the fact we're being taught incorrectly to use specific words in specific ways that actually allow us to shape and form the realities that we're having. Okay? Now, a lot of times, from some of my peers, I've been accused of attempting to sound white, or, proper, or speaking too proper. We have to understand that the reason that we could pronounce all words correctly with the proper sound and pronunciation is so that we don't create a reality that does not work for us. Okay? When you pronounce words properly, the universe can clearly interpret the sound vibrations that you're uttering clearly. If any word you pronounce incorrectly, especially the vowel usage, especially when we get to certain words that have I makes the it sound. However, a lot of times with the I sound, we're making I, like, for example, like. Okay? Now, in order for the word like to actually make the or to be or sound exactly as it is as I'm displaying, there should be a Y in place of that I. We have to realize too that what we call English is a very young language and it's still developing. And the only way that it could properly develop it is if we properly pronounce our words. This is why it's probably not okay to use slang unless you and the other individual are communicating in an encrypted way so other folks around you do not understand what you're saying, especially if you're communicating certain strategic and tactical information. Otherwise, using slang actually works against you. Like, and so, for example, if you're using the word, oh, that's bad, or that's dope. Now, I realize in hip-hop culture, saying something was bad or was dope was a great thing. However, when we look at what dope means and what bad means, is it a wonder that even within the hip-hop community to this day, especially commercially, why does it sound and appear as though as it do? Think about it. Okay? And the purpose of these videos is to allow us to be able to take our powers of creation and put them in our hands. We are the Netaru, the Elohim, not the Elohim, the Elohim. Okay, we are those gods. Okay, and the gods were able to create worlds and reality by the uttering of their words. Okay, so that's one of the those are some of the main reasons why I am posting these videos based on these words. Okay, now one of the words, well, let's start off now with if. If is also like a conjunction. For example, like saying, I can go down here if I do this first. If denotes making a decision. Period. Making a decision. Therefore, it leaves the realm of if, which is not making a decision, to making the decision and the action that reflects that. Next word is impress or impressed. Now, we know whenever we are impressed by someone or something that it has an energy stamp on us, like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's interesting. However, what we must be careful of is not to be impressed to the point that we are admiring other light or someone else's light and not admiring ours. For example, there's a lot of times where I may see particular martial artists do something that may be specifically new to me or something that I just haven't thought of or used before. And at times I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I'm impressed. However, I do not allow myself to go low or allow my light to be diminished to where it's like, wow, this martial artist came up with this. Why didn't I? Maybe I'm not that good. No, each individual is different. And everyone has something to contribute to the whole of creation. We have to remember that we are the creator, living so-called separated lives, which in reality are not separate. They're individual lives, which means we're looking at it from numerous perspectives. However, we're still connected to the whole. Everything we say, do, feel, and act upon is going on to be used for the purpose of creating new worlds and creating new universes. A lot of us who are writers or poets or anyone using any type of arts, we are creating sub-universes to our own, where our characters and our stories have their lives. Okay? Insanity. I'm sure a lot of you all have heard some cases where a person just went off the deep end or snapped and allowed themselves to kill 400 or 500 people at one time. I know that's a little exaggerated. However, and then you have a lawyer that comes out of the blue when you know this person did the particular act, right? And they can get a lawyer to say that, hey, this person did this because they were insane. Let's get the insanity plea. Insanity just means that you are not accepting responsibility for what you did. Period. Whether we realize it to a minor degree or major degree, we are all responsible for every action, every thought, and every feeling that we bring forth and manifest into reality. Okay? Insult. You know, when someone insults us, or if we allow ourselves to be insulted, we have to look within ourselves to see what part that we play in it. First of all, we have to ask ourselves, is what this other individual is saying, is it actually true? Is it actually real? And a lot of times, well, we attempt to point the finger and not look at ourselves. I'll continue further in the next part. Hatep.